I never believed in ghost stories, but that changed the night my friends and I went camping deep in Maplewood Forest. We arrived at dusk, the sun filtering through the tall pine needles, casting long shadows that danced ominously on the forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth. As we set up our tents, laughter filled the space, a stark contrast to the unsettling stillness of the woods. After dinner, we settled around the fire, sharing whispered tales of the forest's past. A local legend claimed the woods were cursed, where those who entered often disappeared without a trace. My friends scoffed, but I felt a chill creeping down my spine, the hairs on my neck prickling as the wind rustled through the trees, almost as if they were sighing in response. Later, I ventured into the darkness to relieve myself, the beam of my flashlight flickering against the towering trees. There, just beyond the circle of light, I thought I saw a figure standing still. But when I turned my head, there was nothing. I brushed it off as paranoia and returned to the fire, grateful for the company and warmth. But then, the laughter stopped. Paula, one of my friends, squinted into the shadows. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. We strained our ears. A faint rustling echoed from deeper within the forest, slowly morphing into something that resembled a whisper. The unease settled over us like a heavy fog. We laughed nervously, trying to mask our growing fear. That night, restless sleep came uneasily. Before dawn, I jolted awake to a blood-curdling scream. My heart raced as I scrambled out of the tent, my friends already congregating. "It's Curtis! He's missing!" Rachel cried, frantic. "He was right next to me!" Panic coursed through us as we called his name, our voices swallowed by the darkness. The forest felt alive, its trees closing in around us, offering no signs of escape. Every rustle made us jump. The whispers grew louder, circling like vultures above our heads. We started searching, calling for Curtis with desperation, but every answer was only silence. Hours passed, and as the sun finally broke through the tree line, we stumbled across Curtis's backpack abandoned at the edge of a clearing. My stomach twisted at the sight, dread pooling in my gut. "He wouldn't leave this behind," I murmured. A cold sweat formed at the nape of my neck. Just then, a sound pierced the eerie silence, a low, sorrowful wail. We turned to each other, hearts pounding. It echoed through the trees, and with it came another voice, Curtis's voice, crying out for help. We followed the sound, hearts racing, desperate for our friend. Deeper into the forest we went, the whispers swelling, filling our souls with terror. Suddenly I tripped, falling hard to the ground. When I looked up, there he was, Curtis, standing just beyond a cluster of trees, his face pale, eyes wide with fear. Relief flooded through me. I called out, "Curtis, we found you!" But he didn't move. He stood perfectly still, that dreadful wail still faintly repeating from the depths of the forest. "Help me," he whispered. Or was it the forest that spoke? I couldn't tell. I felt an unseen force pressing upon my chest, dragging me back. My voice faltered. "Curtis, come back. What happened?" And then he smiled. But it wasn't his smile, not the Curtis I knew. It was twisted, inhuman. I looked around. My friends had become shadows, blending into the trees, their eyes vacant, their mouths still. They stood behind me, no longer my friends, but something else, something alive. The forest howled, and in that moment, I understood the truth. Curtis wasn't lost. He had become part of it, and now I was too. As the shadows closed in, I realized this night wouldn't end. It would keep echoing through the darkness, deep in Maplewood Forest. Around me, the whispers swelled, a cacophony of lost souls melding into one unholy symphony. I turned, panic clawing at my throat, but my friends had vanished into the dimness, their essence consumed by shadows that danced eagerly at the fringe of my vision. I could no longer discern Curtis from the murmuring forest. He was an echo, a bitter memory replaced by something sinister. "Help me," he implored once more, that awful, crooked smile stretching further across his face, as if he craved something worse than despair. The wind howled, twirling leaves like phantoms around us, and I sensed the ancient trees closing in tighter, their gnarled roots creeping along the forest floor, like fingers reaching hungrily for my feet. "Stop it! You're not Curtis!" I screamed. My voice trembled in the suffocating air. The shadows flickered. The forest responded with a low, guttural growl that reverberated through the ground beneath me. My mind raced, logic cracked under pressure. This had to be a nightmare. Yet the iron grip of reality seeped into my bones, chilling me to the core. "Join us," he said, and I felt the weight of the forest's desire pressing against me, a compulsion to surrender. Was I witnessing the fate that awaited me, swallowing my spirit whole? I ran, heart hammering against my ribs, darting through the trees. But they twisted and shifted. Every path became a maze. The tall trunks morphed into grotesque faces that leered down at me, their bark contorted with malice. I stumbled into a clearing, a small patch of sanity amidst the chaos. There lay the remnants of a campfire, surrounded by sticks and stones arranged in a crude circle. A flickering ember fought against the growing darkness. Without thinking, I knelt, desperation fueling my actions as I tried to create sparks, hoping the fire would ward off whatever had claimed my friends. The moment the flames licked back to life, silence enveloped me, thick and palpable. But the peace was deceptive. The unease thrummed through the very air. Then the whispers returned, urgent, insistent, spiraling around me like a serpent. "Join us. Be one with the shadows." Suddenly, a figure emerged from the waist-high ferns, her silhouette carved from the darkness itself. It was Paula, her eyes sunk into hollow sockets, her smile no longer hers, but the same twisted rictus that had claimed Curtis. "You must choose," she crooned, her voice sweetly sick. "Let go, or be lost forever." "No, I won't!" I shouted. Pushing away from the ground, I turned to flee. The forest erupted around me. Tendrils of mist curled up from the ground, tugging at my legs, rooting me in place. The trees moaned, branches creaking, drawing nearer with each futile attempt to escape. Desperation clawed at me. I lunged toward the fire, reaching for a burning branch as if it were a lifeline. I swung it wildly, the acrid scent of burning wood thickening the air. "Get away! Leave me alone!" But the shadows only snarled back, lunging into the light with unnatural speed. Paula laughed, a cacophony of madness echoing between us, reverberating through the forest. "You cannot outrun the forest. It already has you." At that moment, the world twisted violently. The fire flickered as if caught in a monstrous gust. The heat slipped away, leaving me shivering cold. Shrieking, I collapsed against the warm embers, momentarily grounding myself in that clarity. The light held, flickering defiantly as the shadows recoiled, momentarily repulsed by the warmth. I scrambled to my feet, frantically looking for an escape. I saw a path opening to my right, a narrow gap between twisted roots glowing faintly in the embers' light. With a primal scream, I fled, driven by pure adrenaline, propelled forward by the clinging dose of hope. The path was gnarly and treacherous. Branches slashed at my skin, whispering curses that clawed at my sanity. "You can't leave," they taunted. "You already belong to us." My breath came in ragged gasps as I stumbled. The clearing behind me faded into grotesque shadows. The echoes of my friend's aberrant laughter chased me away like crows. Finally, I broke the tree line, bursting into the pale dawn light. A weight lifted, though exhaustion gripped me cruelly. But as I turned, I could see it. The trees stood sentinel, their branches grotesquely intertwined like fingers straining to clutch their prize. I felt the pull of the woods, a tether forming in my mind. The hunger of Maplewood Forest still writhed within me. I ran, but the forest glared, the whispers of my friends now fading into an insidious promise, clinging to the edges of my thoughts. Daylight enveloped me, but I could still hear the echoes, beckoning me back into the dark. And as I reached the road, shaking but alive, I understood the truth of Maplewood Forest. The forest does not let go. It endures. It waits, whispering always, for those who dare to listen too closely.